Good morning and welcome to the Executive Member Decision Session, Economy and Strategic Planning, 28th of February 2022. Just going through the agenda. So item 1 is declarations of interest. I don't have anything that isn't already on the council website in the register of interests. Item 2, the minutes of the meeting held on the 25th of January. I'm happy to sign those as an accurate record. Which brings us on to item 3, which is public participation, and we have Councillor Mark Waters here to speak on the remit of the decision session.
Thank you, Chair. As the executive member will recall, I spoke a month ago at his last decision session to question the absence of any discernible progress with the motion approved at full council on the 16th of December. That motion was for executive to initiate without delay a review of the HMO supplementary planning document with a view to the halving of the acceptable percentage thresholds for new HMO applications. 11 weeks on from something supposed to be initiated without delay, and what do we find? Officers have pushed it out until April's executive for executive to consider halving the thresholds. No, I'm sorry, there is nothing for executive to consider. You and colleagues are working under clear instruction from full council, so get a grip of officers and bring in a halving of those thresholds without delay. I wrote last week to the director responsible, highlighting the slippery wording in the forward plan entry. You were copied in. A week later, no reply. I wrote to you 2 days after the motion was approved at council in December to say I wouldn't let this instruction be diluted or delayed by officers. It was clear from debate at council that executive didn't want this motion to succeed, only voting for it when politically expedient to do so. And it is clear that the director responsible doesn't want to progress the matter as instructed. Apparently, his officers are working with relevant members. As you are the most relevant member, perhaps you can update on progress. What is the legal opinion on if the change to the percentage thresholds requires consultation, and if so, for how long and how extensive? Given the last one in 2011 took 12 months, then if this is required, the consultation should have started by now on a process supposed to be initiated without delay. So in the absence of a reply from the Director of Economy in place, I expect a full update on progress, or the lack of it, from yourself this morning. Or are we to see further confirmation as to who actually runs this local authority, where clear instruction to officers is ignored because there's no progress to report? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Waters. The item is going to executive on April's executive. There is a report.
So no update this morning?
There is a report going to executive in April. Right, that brings us on to item 4. Review of York Business Week. So,
all right, thanks, Councillor Waller. Shall I give you a summary first, and then we could go into the report? Is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, the York Business Week, it's an annual event, and it's normally delivered by business organisations and the council economic growth team, as we did last year. We did an evaluation because we had over 35 different events with 600 delegates. We actually had about 900 delegates booked, but on the day of the various events, we had about 600 delegates turn up. And the week was very popular. The feedback we got showed us that, you know, there were most of the companies attended, just under 60%, were 1 to 5 employees. So we're reaching those small businesses we always want to talk to. But based on the feedback, there was there's a number of ideas to develop the event going forward, and I think there's several operating models. One of the options include a similar style as we did last year, where the council will provide virtual events and our partners to deliver some of the in-person events throughout the week. And that also gives us the option to change our focus a little bit, to reduce the number of council events that take place during the week, and then we could supplement our events throughout the year with other events the business growth managers have got planned, but also very similar to the entrepreneurs event we had a few weeks ago. And we're proposing that we undertake further consultation with our member organizations and city partners to see how we come together to develop that program and then bring it back to the spring decision session.
Okay, thank you for that. I'd like to thank officers for putting together your business week in 21. It was still a tricky time to be running events, and some were in person, and some were hybrid or online, and I think that that's a way of working that organisations have become familiar with for a range of organisations. So it was a successful week, as you mentioned in the report, because there were so many partner organisations putting on events at the same week. There was quite an overload if you wanted to attend a number, and appreciate that businesses were focusing on recovery. Therefore, I think the proposal to take the principle of Business Week to extend it over a longer period is a sensible approach. There are, during the year, sometimes some occasions that merit having the council pull together partners for particular sessions that don't fit with that particular week, but can be branded as being part of the principle of Business Week.
Absolutely, it gives us greater flexibility to address immediate needs with the events throughout the year as well.
Yeah, and in the report, options from paragraph 16 to 19 in modifying the operation. So I think with the principle of demonstrating value for money, that if the council is doing it, then it's doing it to the public purse, and therefore it does need to be justified. And I think the survey of what people thought of Business Week is helpful to demonstrate the value of doing it. And I appreciate that partner organisations will have their own membership, they will have their own priorities and emphases, but very much when push comes to shove, they rely on the council setting things in motion, and then, and then joining in or running their own events. So I think that's a sensible approach. So it's just understanding how it would work during the year, and the consultation that you'll do to refine that, so that there is no stepping on people's toes, that organisations are quite clear about what it is they want to achieve and how they want to support their sector in the city with growth. But I think it's a matter of building on the closer working relationships that were established during the various lockdowns, which I think has set the York economy in a particularly strong position for recovery, because that working together took place.
Yeah. So we'll meet with the partners in the next few weeks, look at that operating model we propose, and then we'll get a consensus on the best way forward. I think they would all welcome the opportunity to look at how we how we coordinate the week and giving them a bit more control, if you like, of some of the events that go on, in particular for their membership. But also, I think they would welcome the opportunity to do things throughout the year as well. So I think it's a benefit for everybody.
Just looking at paragraph 19, and there's a bullet point 4 down, introducing York colleges to the rail sector to work with students on delivering catering services. I think one of the key things that have come out of the rail sector roundtables is the awareness of the need to have thousands more people in the city working in the rail sector, and therefore building up an interest at school, so that young people are taking decisions that help them get into those careers. Will there be an emphasis on taking Business Week's principles into all schools in the city?
Absolutely, and I think you're right to mention the rail sector, because we can't ignore the benefits we've sort of highlighted with that group coming together. And I think it makes sense to look at Business Week and all the things we're doing there, and to introduce some of those topics into schools. Yeah, because there's always the position where we need to make students, secondary school students, even primary school students in some cases, aware of the opportunities that are going to be around. And sometimes we don't know what those opportunities are. We don't know what those job titles are by the time they graduate, but certainly to engage them with the business community and all the various sectors we have, because we know those skills, those new skills are going to be in demand.
Andy Kerr.
Yeah, and I think we've just got a great opportunity. Obviously, we've had a bid for the Great British Rail headquarters. There's a real opportunity there to, to highlight our history of people working in the rail industry and inspire the next generation, and hopefully be part of our successful bid to bring the headquarters to York.
Indeed, I think that's something that a wide number of organisations, not restricted to the rail sector, are interested in the city. A large number of businesses from all sectors have been very keen to make sure that the York case is as strong as it can be. So with those additional comments in relation to the operating models for York Business Week going forward, I'm happy to agree the recommendations in paragraph 4, and that there'll be a further report coming back later this year. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you very much for that. That brings us on to item 5, which is urgent business. I think it would be appropriate to note our concern for people in Ukraine, in particular the 5 York residents caught up in the invasion, and I'm sure there'll be a more in-depth comment from the council on that, but I did feel it appropriate to record today. Thank you. That brings an end to the meeting.